Hey, man.
Hey, man.
Glad you could make it.
With Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Insomniac has the unenviable task of following up two riveting superhero fantasies full of excitement and heart. While that may sound like a good problem to have,
damn, the game looks beautiful.
Where do you go?
Yo, look at the game.
Heart. While that may sound like a good problem to have, the question becomes, where do you go from there? Well, its answer is to double down. Double down on Spider-Man, double down on the size of the map, double down on explosive action sequences.
Yes, give us more. This
So,
IGN,
the studio
unfortunately, yes.
another consistently exciting roller coaster ride and the best story of the series yet.
Best story?
Stand the original alongside the sequel in other ways, and it can look a bit like two Spider-Man games pointing at each other. The excellent combat hasn't gotten old, but it is largely the same fun as before. And
that's fine.
Despite that larger map,
I like the combat. I just need more stuff to play with.
Found within it are in desperate need of evolution. The result is a blockbuster in the most modern sense of the word. Undeniably thrilling for long stretches, but by
they gave Tears of the Kingdom a 10.
Others.
I mean, Tears of the Kingdom is a 10. The amount of stuff you can do in that game is crazy. Only thing that I'd say Tears of the Kingdom is lacking on is
Spider-Man 2's combat is very
performance.
Familiar. It doesn't have that new suit smell anymore, but it still feels incredibly comfy to slip back into. The rhythm of precision
Tears of the Kingdom's probably gonna win Game of the Year, bro. I'm telling
parries, you. So you're not only swerving and striking now, and
the technical stuff you can do with the little green thingy was cool.
Combos to keep
hella
the
shit you can do.
as stylish as
People were literally building Gundams, bro. They gave you so much stuff to play around with.
The movement is smooth and the hits are crunching. Like some sort of peanut butter hybrid that every one of your foes is allergic to.
Crunching hits is
Power
crazy.
and elegance are brought together in a brick-to-the-face ballet as enemies are thrown around like dolls, juggled in the air, slammed across concrete floors, and slung into each other like body-armored bowling pins.
Man, I want to use the Venom stuff, man.
Never killed.
Peter's
every
not
bone in their body
the Venom
may be
electricity.
broken and every organ punctured, but of course, they'll somehow live to commit crimes again. Overall, there's slightly less emphasis on stealth
excited, chat, 19 inches.
Than in either Spider-Man or Miles Morales. As someone who found the stealth action of the previous games a little simplistic and routine, this new, louder approach is welcome. Naturally, there are story missions where Miles or Pete have to slink across ceilings and take out thugs who never look up, but Spider-Man 2 is much more eager for you to get into the action, with many abilities designed to let you group up enemies.
I just want more fun stuff to use. Like, I want a good story and more fun stuff to use. That's pretty much all I want. And it seems like this game has it.
But once Parker dons the symbiote suit already shown off in trailers, the gooey, angry powers that come with it make a big impact, adding more of a brawler nature to fights and giving Peter a set of tools to match Miles' satisfying electric abilities. One area the Insomniac has made improvements in is that Spider-Man 2 offers significantly more in the way of enemy variety, so you'll no longer be battering the same 5 balaclava bullies with baseball bats.
Yeah, it looks like the Venom skills have like a lot of AoE,
such as electric or symbiote attacks, which also adds an enjoyable extra wrinkle to fights.
Ew, what is that
suit? It's by no
suit?
means revolutionary stuff, but a welcome added level of complexity that makes you consider which powers, or even which Spider-Man, are best for the job.
Yeah, with the skill tree, at least with Miles, I was like, there was so much cool stuff, I didn't know which one to go first. Which is, honestly, a compliment.
Such as the web line, which
you can make lines now.
High wires
that's fire.
To prey on them from above.
That is fire.
It's a fun tool that allows you to reshape the tightly designed arenas into a
easily make stealth missions.
And in doing so,
stealth your own way.
room with web-wrapped people pinatas. On the topic of covert ops, the playable MJ sequences
like how they keep suits from last game? Yeah.
And while they
had to do was add more
this time around and serve the story well, they never add up to more than simple stealth missions.
MJ stealth missions again!
Third-person shooting. She's certainly not sidelined, but it does feel like a little more could have been done to make her
oh wait, what the hell? Wait, she got caught that time.
But it does feel like a little more could have been done.
Oh, she can actually fight back when she gets caught now. What the hell?
Exciting. Combat
it's actually not bare bones. You gotta start from the start. Wow. She got caught.
Been done to make her gameplay sections.
She can actually get caught and keep going. Good.
Aside,
but she probably gets one shot though.
Around their friendly neighborhoods in more stylish ways than ever. The new web wings are undoubtedly a standout. Like Batman before him, Spider-Man can now glide and soar with ease through the city. And web swinging is as gratifying as you remember, and still one of the best ways to get around any open world.
The ghost of you. The one shot? Oh yeah, for sure. She's MJ. What does she got? She got no armor.
Hijinks and solemn moments of reflection. It's undeniably a fun time to don the suit and
Miles
enter a
buff.
Kratos-like rage mode where you push in both thumbsticks and start one-hitting everything in your path.
Yo,
but
what is that?
The writers never once forget to take their eyes off the humanity inside these superhumans. The same
quality
can be
looks a
said
little
for
rough
both
at that
its
point.
heroes and villains, as Spider-Man 2 tackles the reasoning behind each
In the
character's
classroom, the game
actions
looked
and
beautiful,
the good
though.
that can hide in the shadows of evil. Avoiding spoilers, the basic premise revolves around Kraven the Hunter, who is, well, craving a hunt. For those uninitiated in the character, he's essentially the Predator, an apex hunter blessed with super strength who has chosen New York as his next hunting ground.
The great hunt begins.
It's a great starting point that sends the city's hero and villain dynamic into flux as he sets his sights on the biggest prey possible. There are also smaller stories at play though, ones that may seem less important when compared
That
to
suit is ugly.
chaos, but feel
Is that supposed to be like a
potential
prowler?
world to those who inhabit it. Both Spider-Man
Prowler
tackle the
scheme?
most extreme examples of trying to manage a work-life balance you could imagine, exploring a range of personal issues including strange relationships and loss.
MJ,
as humans, no matter
in the
how
trailer yesterday, MJ did the Akira slide and she failed it, bruh.
superpowered.
That
It's the best
me
written
crying.
story in the series yet, if still a little.
She tried to do the Akira slide and she failed.
Of the script, it's a real triumph that manages to cover such a wide
like,
spectrum of themes without suffering from tonal
May
whiplash.
blossoms.
You made it. I thought you said this was a startup.
Primarily a Peter Parker story, Spider-Man 2 explores his relationship with MJ and the reintroduction of childhood best friend Harry Osborn into his life. It's always compelling to watch him contend with which pieces of the past to leave behind and what future self he wishes to be. No matter how hectic a scenario gets though, he always has a quippy one-liner ready to be expertly delivered by actor Yuri Lowenthal.
I really should have stretched.
Miles still gets his time in the spotlight however, and has some fantastic moments towards the end of the main campaign, even if some of the more interesting explorations of his Puerto Rican African-American culture are reserved for side missions. Obviously, what you take from the story and its diverse cast of characters will
black
be unique
woman?
to you. On the surface, it's another thrilling superhero story packed full of surprises, cameos, and Easter eggs.
Cameos?
But there are deeper meanings to be found here too.
Mr. Morales, is it? Are you sure this isn't something you can handle yourself? I'm sure.
Spider-Man 2, and to an extent all great
Is Peter a
Spider-Man
professor or
stories,
something?
tackle
What the hell was
themes of
it?
adolescence and puberty, a time of uncertainty for
Mr.
even the most
Morales?
normal of teenagers trying to control bodily
He
fluids.
is?
I gotta get better at fluid management.
We join Miles at this exact point in his life,
Or a
with
science
family
professor.
ties straining, friendships facing new challenges, and life decisions of
Substitute?
genuine importance
Oh,
being
interesting.
posed for the first time. Actor Najee Jeter displays all the range needed for the role.
No, that
continuing
suit.
to excel as
Okay,
a younger
it's actually
Spider-Man
starting to
with
grow on me. I kind of like the
our
Prowler
eyes.
suit.
Maybe one of those scholarships.
I kind of am liking it now. Never
For
mind.
Peter, these themes manifest in a much more physical sense. He's in his early 20s, so has already navigated the difficult years that Miles finds himself in. But thanks to the
MJ on a
symbiote suit, he's
motorcycle.
working his way through yet more bodily changes. This physical manifestation is also representative of mental health issues that have developed for each Spider-Man. Venom hangs over the main characters like a spectre of grief, drenching them in black as if in a state of mourning. The story does
Yeah,
a
you
great
can
job
see
at
the
gently
suit moving
exploring
around his
these
neck.
issues and how
Ew.
when not healthily addressed, personal demons can eat at us and lead to people we care about being unintentionally caught in the crossfire of the anger and pain those feelings can produce. Of course, a hero is nothing without its villains, and Spider-Man's rogues gallery is almost unparalleled. Outside of the likes of Venom, Kraven and Lizard seen in the trailers, Insomniac has kept many more hidden up its sleeve. I won't even hint at any of these except to say that Spider-Man 2 opens with a bang, offering up a sense of scale not previously seen in the series. It's an adrenaline-fueled reintroduction that tests how well you remember the combat, as well as providing a few new tricks. It's also the start of one of the new side story villain threads that are optional, and while those don't offer anything overly new in terms of gameplay, they do add valuable extra scraps of story. Speaking of boss battles,
They
that's
leaked
one area
Sandman?
that Spider-Man
Nah, that was in
2
the
takes
trailer.
a noticeable step up.
It's in the trailer.
Ready for your annual physical?
There are evolving brawls packed full of danger that put all of your skills to the test. Dodges and parries are key, as well as using environmental tools dotted around the arenas for your benefit. The latter third of the campaign,
that Sandman fight in that shit look crazy though.
That will put the sturdiest of thumbs to the test. Not necessarily because it ever gets too
You play this game on PS4,
because of the sheer number of times you'll
your
be
thing would turn into a fighter jet.
These later stages are where the majority
At least in the Sandman fight, that fight looked
thrills
insane.
lay, however, as it really hits its stride late on and emphatically
makes sense why the game can't be on PS4.
Miles of emotional depth that never
Worth it.
once
Oh,
threatens to
hell no.
peter out.
Your dad used to give me that exact same look.
Despite what loftier ambitions the roughly 18-hour story may have, this is still unapologetically an old-school approach to open-world game design, and nowhere is this displayed more clearly than in its optional quests.
Just to get
to
the
their credit,
fireworks.
the way you can highlight side objectives by pressing the right stick is a welcome upgrade over mere icons on a map. This isn't a world that beckons exploration or discovery necessarily, but it is a step in the right direction toward creating greater immersion, and mercifully less time spent looking at the
I just
map
want to see the
screen.
good
That
story,
being
man.
said, I can't help but have hoped for a few more flashes of
What is
Gotham
this?
City
Spider-Man,
to make their way
dude?
into New York. Something like the spontaneous shock of Man-Bat jumping at you out of nowhere
Ew.
went a long way to making Rocksteady's superhero open world feel more reactive than what we get here. When you consider the evolution of open world game design that the Arkham series took over the course of the trilogy, it's a bit disappointing to see Insomniac's series stuck in time when it comes to its side content and the way it presents itself to you. Standard open world filler activities are here aplenty, and that's one area where Spider-Man 2 hasn't moved with the times or shown much ambition at all. Collectibles, photo opportunities, and rather basic street crimes are still here, and despite having a few slightly more interesting quirks this time around, they only very occasionally.
Man, the gliding looks so smooth,
Granted,
man.
the additional enemy variety in play makes these activities take a little longer to get old than they did in the past, but this still isn't quite a strong enough twist to make prioritizing photographing these
What is it called, the spider
over
arms?
saving a house full of people from
What
a
is that
raging
suit
fire
called?
not seem ridiculous.
Spider arm suit or whatever. What is the power supposed to be called? Oh snap.
There are exceptions to the rule, however.
Kaneki,
There are a
okay,
couple of
dude.
more involved questlines that are much more nourishing, almost to the point of being a series of mini main plot missions. My favourite was the Flame questline, which
Iron
begins
Spider?
with simply helping out the fire brigade, but quickly spins a layered and mysterious web. It's full of twists, turns, and surprises, like a great short comic book run that separates itself from the rest of Spider-Man.
I just hope I'm not able to
time
predict
trials
everything,
and
bro.
simple
I
puzzle
cannot
minigames.
stand playing
All
story
of
games
this
where I can predict
contributes to
everything that
fighting
happens.
back against crime in each district.
That's part of why I like Final
A
Fantasy
city
so
now
much.
twice the size of what we've
They're not
seen
afraid to
before.
kill off
There are
anybody.
14 unique districts, each with its own set of objectives to complete.
Some
before you can
plot
unlock
points
fast
are
travel to that part of the
lacking
map.
at
Not
times,
making
but
fast
like
travel readily available is
they're
smart, and
just
truthfully,
not
I
afraid to
barely
kill
used it
anyone off.
anyway, as swinging and gliding around the city is so much more fun. Gliding is especially great for crossing long distances thanks to the numerous wind tunnels that carve their way through New York's seamless
FF10? Oh, I loved FF10.
streets, flanked by Art Deco architecture
FF10 was
and
amazing.
modern mirror-like skyscrapers. Of course, if you're going to be
16
catching
was
a
crazy.
reflection in that
Some
glass so
points
often,
when
you'll
like you
want
have to do
to
like the
look
filler
your
main
best.
story stuff was annoying, but overall
Fear not,
the story
there are
was good.
dozens and dozens of
Ending is a
suits to
little
unlock, with
shaky
myriad
though, but
colourful skins to pick from
so
on
I
each.
enjoyed everything I
From
played,
modern
especially from the gameplay.
interpretations of
What the
classics
hell is
to
that? 10
returning
FPS?
fan
The
favourites.
fuck
There are
was that?
treats to
Yo?
wait them. From modern interpretations of classics to returning
Is that supposed to be
skins
like that?
pick from on
What
each
the
of them.
hell?
From modern interpretations of classics
Is
to
that
returning
supposed to
fan
be like
favourites.
that?
There are treats waiting for Spider-Man fans of all generations. In keeping with Insomniac's track record, the music behind it all is stellar.
Animation, yeah.
Miles and Peter's respective signature tunes playing depending on who you're controlling. A highlight though is the theme that
Bro,
follows
using that in
Kraven's
cutscenes? Oh my
footsteps,
God.
which bears more than a passing resemblance to Howard Shore's Uruk-hai War March from the Lord of the Rings score. It soundtracks a world that looks stunning, even when played in performance
Seeing this
mode
game
at
just
a
makes me
very
so hyped
stable
to see how they're gonna
60
do
FPS,
Wolverine.
As I did for almost all of my playthrough. In fact,
All the devs that are
Spider-Man
working
2
on
is a
this game
technical
are now already
marvel
working
as a
on
whole.
Wolverine now.
I can't say I noticed one drop
Like
frame
4 months
in
ago
my
they announced that they
dozens of
moved
hours
on now.
of playing.
Since
This
this game's
allows
done.
Spider-Man 2 to shine in its most jaw-dropping moments, of which the story offers many, as explosive action, sparkling electrical effects, and fittingly slimy symbiote gloop fill the screen.
Gloop.
So,
Gloopy.
what do you think?
Go about Wolverine? Yeah, I want to see that. I mean, I like Spider-Man, but I want to see Wolverine. That would be way darker.
Marvel Spider-Man 2 is both blessed and cursed. Its story of two Spider-Men is a great time and a Spidey fan's dream to play through as comic book pages are brought to life, elegantly walking the tightrope between light humor and heavier themes. Meanwhile, Insomniac refines a successful formula of combat and web swinging without revolutionizing either in major ways, making them comfy and familiar with just enough new tweaks and abilities to elevate.
I don't know. I just would like to see Wolverine because it's gonna be bloodier, darker,
that feels like it
and like I don't know, man.
Thinking is the open world of New York City, which has been made bigger but not better, with an exhausting.
Let's see what Insomniac can do apart from Spider-Man.
Side activities, but it's safe to call this another thrilling Spider-Man adventure that delivers Insomniac's best tale yet. And despite its open world falling short, it is a reliably fun.
I want to see the story, man.
Hype
for the story.
Screw it. It really did make me feel like Spider-Man 2.
Okay. Not bad. I was hoping to see a 9 though. I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping to see a 9 or 10 though, but 8. Solid. Seems to be solid.
Assassin's Creed
but
Mirage.
that's the review.
Spider-Man 2.
I don't care what the review is. I need to see what my review is.